Greetings everyone and welcome to Batocera Nation. So today I'm going to have a sequel to my last video, which was a PS3 tutorial. And if you've not seen that video, I highly encourage you to watch that video first, because otherwise you're going to be completely lost to our discussion today. In fact, I'll post a link at the conclusion of this video. Now then, unlike some movie sequels out there, I think today you're going to be very happy with this sequel, because not only am I going to change my recommendation for the ASRock NUC computer, I'm also going to provide a solution to the hard drive games installation for the PS3 emulator, a solution that now is absolutely seamless as opposed to my last recommendation for my last video. So first thing is first. So last time I gave this little NUC computer from ASRock, the 1165G7, this is the 11th generation Intel i7 chip. I gave it a bad rap, unfairly so. I told you all I tried to install the PS3 emulator on this little computer and that I was having nothing but trouble. I mean, all the games were stuttering and it was such a hassle to get them all to work, and I finally gave up. The very next day, I went ahead and boxed up my little NUC computer, and I was planning to send it right back to Newegg. In fact, I was literally on my way to the UPS store when I got a comment from a guy by the name of Brandon. I can't pronounce his last name. And he said to me, hey, maybe the problem is that you use the x86 version of Batocera instead of using the NUC version of Batocera. And he's talking about these two, okay? Well, it turns out I didn't use the x86 version of Batocera. I used this version, the x64, instead of using this one. And I thought that both were the same. In fact, both had the same file size. But it turns out when I downloaded this version and I installed the PS3 emulator, everything was running smooth. I no longer had any audio stuttering. It was absolutely amazing. I was absolutely pleased with my little NUC computer. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and share with you the before and after using this game's intro, so you can see the difference. You can hear the difference between the x64 version of Batocera versus the NUC version of Batocera, okay? But before we do that, it turns out this morning I got a comment from a guy by the name of Kevin, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and he told me he had a solution to the hard drive games installation for the PS3 emulator that now works seamlessly within Batocera menu system. And it turns out I decided, you know what, I'm going to investigate this even further. And I did. And I began to experiment with it. And it turns out in the end I came up with an even better solution, I think. But he got his idea from the Batocera Discord guy. So props to the Batocera team, the support team, and to the people who were there at the Discord helping each other out. Okay. So I'm going to share with you the solution that we now have for the hard drive games installation, which we did not have the last time. In fact, the one we have last time wasn't as seamless as you can see now. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Brandon, for both of your suggestions. So let me go ahead and share with you right now before and after introduction of Demon Souls using both versions of Batocera. right, so let me show you what was going on. Press start and go into system settings. So for audio output, I had chosen this one with the 64 version of Batocera. And I chose this one because I have attached to a PC speaker, okay? Now that I have the NUC version of Batocera, choosing this one, it plays absolutely perfect without any stuttering. Now, if I want to choose the HDMI output, I choose this one. For some reason, for this particular NUC computer, this is the one that works for HDMI output, all right? So once again, if you have an Intel NUC computer, it's very crucial you download the NUC version of Batocera from their website, because otherwise you might not have great performance. As for this one, it has now tremendous performance. All these games actually play really well. For Skate 3, I think it needs a little more GPU juice to get it to work just perfect. But let me go ahead and share with you how it plays now. As you saw, it wasn't all that bad. And all these other games, they played really well. Imagine that, all this from a little NUC computer that's worth less than $600. A few years ago, this would have been inconceivable, unthinkable. Now it's possible. And so now I'm very happy and delighted with my ASRock NUC computer. And in fact, if you're thinking about getting one of these when it comes back in stock, I highly recommend it. I say go for it. You won't be disappointed with this powerful mini computer. And so now let's go ahead and proceed with the solution to the hard drive games installation for the PS3 emulator. You're going to love this solution. Okay, so we're back in Batocera. So as I mentioned in my first PS3 emulator tutorial, there are two types of games, the format that the emulator can use. There's the disk-based format, and then there's a hard drive-based format, okay? We had no trouble working with these. For this one, for the hard drive-based games, we had more difficulties, and I came up with a solution which ultimately wasn't very seamless, but back then that's the only solution I knew. Turns out there's a better solution. But let me first go ahead and share with you the first solution that we talked about, just so we're all on the same page. All right. So I mentioned that at least keep one of these hard drive-based games in the ROMs folder, right? And we'll select on it. It will load up the emulator, and then with the keyboard it said press tab, and then you can choose the game right there. See, there and there. Okay. Again, not very seamless, but that was the only solution I knew back then. As I mentioned, turns out there's a much better solution. So let's get out of this. Press F1. Escape. F1. Let's go into the ROMs folder. Let's go into the PS3 folder. Okay, let's go ahead and delete this. We don't need this no more. All right. Okay, now let's go back into applications. Select the emulator. All right, so this game, Daytona USA and Family Feud, these two are the hard drive-based games, okay? This is the game ID. You might want to write it on a piece of paper what it is. This way you know what to look for later on, okay? So I've written these two down on a piece of paper, okay? Make sure that these games are working first. Before we do anything, make sure these games are installed and working properly. Once they're working properly, then we can move on to the next step. Go ahead and exit. Go into Share. Go into System. Make sure you view, make sure this is selected, because if it's not, this is all you're going to see. You're not going to see the folder we need. So, Show Hiddens. Then go into Configs folder. Go into the emulator folder. Go into this folder. Go into the game folder. Okay, here's where all the hard drive based games are being stored. Okay, so we know that this one right here is Daytona USA, and this one here is Family Feud. So let's go ahead and do Daytona USA. So the suggestion has been that you would select all this, and then you cut, and then you would paste this into the ROMs folder. So let's go PS3. In this folder, go ahead and create, by right-clicking, create new folder, Daytona USA. Daytona USA .ps3, okay? So you create the folder. Then here we create another folder. And this one, we have to call it always PS3 underscore game. Okay? This folder always has to be created. All right. And then inside there, you can go ahead and paste it. Okay? Right there. Now, the other thing we need also is go into one of the ones that are disk-based games, and go ahead and take this one right here, copy it, and put it into Daytona. The reason why you need these two, because the Batocera is looking for these two. It's looking for this one, it's looking for this folder. Otherwise, it won't work. And this right here, it's actually more kind of like a dummy folder. Let me show you. You can see that's all it has inside the folder. Okay, kind of like a dummy folder, but you need it. Otherwise, it won't work. So you go ahead and rename it, put it back the way it was originally. All right. Now let's go ahead and get out of it. Go ahead and see if it works. So it looks like it's going to work. It's loading up, but soon you will see that it doesn't work. I get this error message. So the only solution for that is just get out of this. Now then, for some of the games, it would work. For this one game, for example, it didn't work. And then you would have to have duplicate files, duplicate folders, right? Let's get out of this. Press F1. Go back to ROMs. PS3. Select all. Go to Share. Go to System. Go to Configs. Go to the emulator. Go to this folder. Go to Game. Daytona is this one. Paste it, right? So now you have duplicate files and duplicate folders. Go ahead and get out of that. Let's go back in there. Select Daytona USA. And it should load up. You can see it loaded up just fine. Let's get out of this. So therefore, I guess that is a possible solution. You have to have duplicate folders, okay? But I didn't like that. And it turns out I experimented some more and I came out with a better solution. So let's go ahead and press F1. F1. All right, let's go back into ROMs. Let's go into the PS3 folder. Go to Daytona USA. We're going to keep these. We need these here. So let's go inside there. Let's go ahead and delete all that. And delete all that into trash. All right, so it's empty now. Now, let's go back into the original location. System, configs, PS3 emulator, this folder, back into game, back into this one, right? This is the Daytona USA. Now, here's the secret sauce. Go ahead and select all that, and then go into edit and create link. I've talked about this prior in my video, adding multiple hard drives in Batocera. Links are absolutely wonderful and useful, and probably most people do not know how to use them, but I talk about it. You know more about that, go ahead and look up adding multiple hard drives in Batocera. It's found in my channel. In fact, I'll link at the end of this video as well. So go ahead and create the link. It's asking me where. Make sure it's the ROMs folder. If you don't see it, look for it. User data, ROMs. Okay? All right. Now I'll go PS3. Go into the Daytona USA, and inside here, press OK. It always has to go inside here, okay? Press OK. It's done. Now, if I go into my ROMs folder, my PS3, Daytona USA, PS3 game folder, there it is. See, it's linking. It's pointing back to the original location. You can see that by those arrow keys right there. It's not actually there. It's not a duplicate at all. It's just linking it to the actual location. Now, if I get out of this and try it again, it should work. You see that? It worked. Let's have a little gameplay. Something else I'm going to show you. You can see the visible artifacts that were shown in the first tutorial video. They're gone. I found a solution to that. Okay, it looks much better now. Let's go ahead and try it out.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
All right. You can see it works perfectly fine without any problems. So now let's go ahead and do it for family view, right? Let's go ahead and get out of this. Escape, F1. Okay, let's go back into, let's go into ROMs. Let's go ahead and create the folder first, PS3. Create new, remember, right click, create new folder. Family view. PS3. All right, go in there, create another folder. Again, PS3 underscore game. Okay, let's go ahead and copy this one here. Copy. Family View. Go ahead and paste it. Okay, now we're ready to go. Go into Share. Go into System. Go into Configs. Go into Emulator. Go into this right here. Go into Game. And Family View folder is this one. Go ahead, select all. And then Edit. Create link. Don't ask me where. ROMs. PS3. Family View. In this folder. Always in this folder. Okay. Should work now. Let's check it. Make sure everything's fine. PS3. Family View. And there it is. It's linking to the original source. All right. Let's try it out. Close window. Let's go ahead and press Start. Game Settings. Update Games List. And there's Family View. Should work. And you can see there it loaded up fine without any problems. Okay, let's go ahead and get out of this. Okay, go ahead and press F1. Let's go back over here. Go back to the emulator. So again, for all these, now you can see that you have now two of them, but there really is not two of them in there. And since you really won't be messing with this anymore, that's fine. Okay. Within Batocera menu, it's going to look great. It's going to work perfectly. Okay. So again, make sure that when you first thing you need to do is to install these games. Make sure they're up and running perfectly fine within the emulator before you proceed to link them so that Batocera can see them in the menu. All right. Let me go back over here to Daytona USA. Change custom configuration. No. So it turns out the way I was able to get rid of those artifacts, the visible artifacts at the beginning of the intro of the game, is by selecting OpenGL. Before I had Vulkan, it had gibberish on the screen. Okay, so there might be some games that will actually work better in OpenGL. So again, experiment with different things. Okay. All right. All right. So that is a wrap. If you found this video useful, please go ahead, like and subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, that will help me with the YouTube algorithms. And once again, I want to thank Kevin in the Batocera Discord, because through them I was able to find a solution that's far more seamless than it was before. And now I think it's just perfect for PS3 emulation. So for my next video, what I want to do is I want to share with you some emulation gameplay with my ASRock Knockbox 1165 G7. Because now I've come to the conclusion it is a wonderful, mini, powerful PC that does tremendous emulation. So that's going to be my next video. After that, then I'm going to do my DuckStation tutorial. So, okay, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Batocera Nation. Bye.